Yeah, so not to kill the vibe, but we definitely gotta send out a big, just hella prayers to the shit that happened in Texas, bro.
Yeah,
That shit
100%.
was crazy to hear about. I feel like we hear about those things like so often now. It's happening so frequently, but this one fucked me up. The whole story was crazy, but also it was kind of conflicting stories of exactly what happened. So what I read is basically the dude shot his grandma,
yeah,
drove off in a pickup truck, crashed the pickup truck, went in or started just shooting randomly at people, then went into school and then did what he did.
Yeah.
At first, I was seeing people talk about the cops like, why didn't they do anything? Because the first story I had heard was that they chased him, he crashed, got out, started shooting, and then ran in. In that case, regardless of that, we'll get more into like the police aspect of it. But wow, it's a crazy ass thing. And then now everyone, of course, is talking about gun control and things of that nature.
Yeah.
What are y'all thoughts?
Bro, I think this one just hits even harder, especially because it's all so many fucking children, man. And I know that we see so many people die throughout the week. We're like desensitized.
Yeah,
to
Buffalo
people
just
dying.
happened right before.
Yeah, man, and it's like that type of shit happens, and it kind of reminds me of like when COVID first hit, and people wouldn't believe that COVID was real until it got closer to home. Like a friend or family member would get it. Like this type of shit's happening. I don't want this closer to home.
Yeah.
Like I have a niece and I have nephew that like I'm not trying to see that happen to any one of them, and I just can't like. I know the parents are angry for the death, but it's also how it was handled too, especially with the cops taking their time going in there. And I don't know, man. It's this one's just like
That part pissed me off.
yeah, it was finding out after.
Understand. So basically, today I just read that the police were there. They got there about 20 minutes after the shooting started. They didn't get in for an hour. There was an hour of the guy in there just shooting.
Yeah.
And it was they said over 400 rounds he shot in there. And the police are outside. Parents have pulled up. They're outside. And one of the parents tried to like fight past him because they're like, "What are y'all doing? Like y'all aren't moving. Y'all are just standing here," because they were supposedly waiting for SWAT. Those are their orders. Wait for SWAT. And then parents are fighting, trying to get in. They end up tackling one of the parents and arresting him because he's trying to get in and do something to help the kids. And I get the whole thing of the orders probably were to wait for SWAT, but it's hard to believe that when you look at everyone that wants to be a cop, that wants to serve, that wants.
Yeah.
I find it really hard to believe had this been like LA, that the cops are just like, yeah, we're gonna wait for an hour while dudes in there shooting. Someone, I'm not saying go running in there, guns blazing, akimbo, thinking you on some Call of Duty shit, but I assume y'all have tactics for this type of stuff, right?
Right.
And their explanation was, and apparently they admitted they handled it wrong. They're mad unprepared. We also got to take into account it's a small ass town. Nothing happens there. These niggas were not ready for anything like that. Is what it seems like. The fact that y'all stood out there for an hour straight. And then they said from their eyes, they looked at it. They didn't think that anyone had survived because of the shots that had gone off. And they were saying we changed the threat level. They lowered the threat level to subject barricaded as opposed to what it originally was, which is someone shooting up the school, shooting kids, because their assumption was everyone is probably dead. That's just, to me, that's very stupid. Because why would you just say, oh yeah, they're probably all dead? Well, they're gonna be dead because now if they're bleeding out, you just waited an hour and they're kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, nah, that's bullshit.
This is like a huge lack in training because after Columbine, I forgot the guy's name. He was talking about it. He was like a head, like what is it called when you're talking to people if there's like a hostage situation? I think it turned back on automatically.
Oh, we get that up. My bad. Okay, good. I just started hearing it.
But what was I saying? Oh, those. What are the people called? When there's a hostage situation?
Negotiators?
The negotiator. Okay. So he's like a lead negotiator, and he was talking about when Columbine happened. After Columbine happened, they trained to go in even without backup. You're supposed to be going in there like without backup. You don't have to wait for tactical to show up and all of that. So that's where it shocked me that the lack of training, and also they were talking about how much the funding was for the police in that county, something around like 40%. Oh yeah, in Uvalde, is it Uvalde? No, Texas, 40% of the city's budget goes to the police. The school district has its own police force, and it all failed when the community needed them the most.
So what, does the school police not have guns?
They had one armed security, and I guess the guy got past him too. I haven't heard anything about that. Apparently, they had one armed security guard.
Yeah. So if you're the first responder, you should have some type of training for that. Like you
Exactly.
were just saying, like that just seems like negligence or a lack.
And he
of
just
protocol.
walked right in the school.
Yeah,
nothing,
they had,
nothing in the way of him.
And there was another topic about that the police couldn't get in because they were lacking a key.
Yeah, I don't know what
I'm
the
just
fuck
like,
that's about.
what?
When bro just
That's
walked
wild.
in that bitch, like there's things you can do. Like I understand, I've never been shot at by a dude with a fucking assault rifle and body armor, but you're the police. Like you're the ones that people are calling for this.
Yeah.
So y'all just saying, yeah, we're just gonna surround it, let him do his thing in there. It's kind of crazy, bro. Like even if you did something to try to divert his attention, do something. Get in
Yeah.
there and try to do something. And I think a lot of police officers would say, nah, I'm not standing there. Like there's no way. Like
Yeah.
they-
And after he shot his grandma, supposedly
And she lived, too.
She lived. That drive from his grandma's to the school is 12 minutes. Grandma called the police already. So I don't understand how they don't have school on lockdown. I understand that they don't know where he's gonna go, but there is a man with 2 AKs. Or not AKs, 2 fucking ARs, and you guys aren't taking your necessary precautions to shut down the schools around you. And that's just so frustrating to hear. And I don't even I know the parents are angry that their child is gone. Like I can't even fathom what they're going through. Like it's such a scary moment in this time.
Yeah.
And you hear a lot of this gun control. They're talking about it. How do you guys feel about teachers should have guns? How do you feel?
I don't think
what do you
teachers should have guns. That shouldn't be in their job to say, hey, you have to take control over this situation, because there still are a lot of older, antiquated teachers, So it's like giving a 60-year-old teacher a gun. Like my grandma's still teaching,
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know how she would feel going to school every day knowing she has a gun in her drawer. Like I don't think she would feel comfortable with that, even though she knows she's the person controlling it. But yeah, I mean, especially with schools, it's like, and that's what I think is the scariest thing about this situation, is the fact that it happened where there are people who are defenseless, and really more so the fact that there really wasn't a lot of telltale signs that he was going to do it. I was reading something that was talking about how none of his family kind of saw him that way, and it was like a quick flip, and he had posted some stuff on social media, but you can't just
messages
assume.
are crazy.
The messages are wild, but the messages are so close to the actual shooting, so it's like, he was a quiet kid. They said he went to work, got his check, went back home. Wasn't really on social media like that. It wasn't like a wild kid or anything. So I read something too that he had cut his face a little bit and said it was some cat scratches. So his friend wasn't his friend no more. He said he had flipped, but that still is not a telltale sign that hey, he's gonna go shoot somebody. So it's like that, and like you said, it could really happen at any moment. But I feel like we need to have more so of a preparedness versus, we have to restrict stuff and take stuff away, because I think a lot of the times we have this conversation about, okay, what should they do about gun laws? And if somebody's in this place where there's defenseless people, let's say a school or a mall or something like that, if you allow more people to have concealed carry or allow more guards who are trained to hold weapons, I'm pretty sure a lot of more people will be deterred from doing that, because they know, hey, there's going to be some guns out there. I'm fighting against, what it is. So, and it's like, you can't really take away the guns that we have in America. We have more guns than people, damn near.
Yeah.
So that's not going to work. We have so much ammo. The beast has already been unleashed out of the box. You feel me?
Yeah,
the whole gun part. So now that we have guns, let's accept it and let's move forward and be more proactive about stopping this shit.
Yeah, and I do think it needs to be harder for people to get guns. But
Yeah.
even when we talk about background checks, I don't see why he wouldn't have cleared a background check if he didn't have a previous history.
He was 18. He just got
Yeah,
this
exactly.
shit.
He had no background to really talk about. So that's the thing. It's hard to figure out. I think it does need to be harder for people to get guns.
psych fucking evaluation.
But that's what I've thought of. But realistically, how are you gonna do that? So many people are getting guns, bro. The amount of people imagine, think about how many jobs that would take to have all these people psych evaluated. Everyone that wants to get a gun, I just feel like it's not actually practical, but it would be ideal.
Yeah.
Everyone
Yeah.
had to pass some shit.
How long did it take you to get your gun and your license?
2 weeks. It was
2
pretty,
weeks.
It was pretty
so
fast.
I don't know. Maybe it got to be a longer process.
But even then, all right, so wait 30 days, then go shoot up that's the thing. But I feel like it's so hard to actually prevent people from from doing shit like that. I think California, some of the laws do make sense. The ARs, you can only get 10 round mags.
Yeah.
But people are gonna get whatever the fuck they want because
you can go anywhere.
Go to Nevada real quick.
It's illegal to get an extended mag, but niggas can go to Vegas and go get an extended mag.
Exactly. So that's why I do come to the point of like, well, if these things aren't gonna change and there's gonna continue to be people that are able to get guns, even if you didn't go through a shop, bro, anyone can get a gun.
Yeah.
But you might argue, well, they might be having a ghost gun, they might be having some bullshit that's gonna jam on them. But ideally it wouldn't be because there is a certain aspect to it where you go to a gun store and like that same day you walk out with a big ass AR rifle, you're 18. All right, cool, let's have some fun. Like even whatever you're doing, even if you weren't gonna be on no crazy shit, that's just a little weird. Like how are you 18 just getting this big ass rifle with a 30 round mag in or whatever type of mag you had?
And the worst part about it is that the criminal knows when he's gonna use the gun. You know, but then you leave the citizens who are law-abiding citizens pretty much hopeless and defenseless.
You have no idea when you might need it
because they can't have a concealed carry. Like maybe I don't because in California it's really hard to get a concealed carry. You have to be in like certain cities or counties to get a concealed carry. Yeah. But if you go into a place and there's 200 people and you know for a fact as a criminal, hey, I'm gonna have 400 rounds. I know they're not gonna have any rounds. That's a field day. Like you're just like you're just lining them up for that shit. You know, versus it's like okay, we'll put out some concealed carries, citizens, or you know maybe like retired cops or. Maybe they have more guns on them or something.
And then the thing with the school is, regardless, a school probably shouldn't have guns on it. Period. Because even the stuff with the teachers, my response when people are like, "That's a terrible idea," I'm like, "Well, I think those teachers would have liked to have a gun. If they could go back, I'm sure they would have loved to have one. But at the same time, for all the days that it's not needed, in that case, it might not really be worth it because teachers are just people at the end of the day. They just got their education." You see teachers abusing kids. You see all these different stories. Not like obviously it's a very small minority, but with a gun now, it's a very small minority of people that are shooting up schools. But it's nothing to take lightly. But the security at all these schools needs to be better, bro. There needs to be only one entrance point. Even my elementary school, after the bell is rung and everyone's in, there was only one gate to get in through the front, and you had to go through the office and walk in. You couldn't just walk in that bitch like that. And they should make it so you have to get buzzed in. But again, it's these small towns too, who they probably never had no shit like that ever happen.
How are you gonna do that for like the entire part of America? Like to get every fucking school that has like top notch like security or exactly the check-in. The check-ins are like at the worst schools. That's where they have the check-ins at. Like I bet schools in fucking Compton or Inglewood, at least out in LA, like these are the type of schools that they have like the metal detectors and all that.
But even just having one entrance way to get in. I mean, our high school did that. Pretty straightforward. Just close out of every other gate, one gate to get in. And then past that, it would be a little more if you have to actually buzz people in. But at least if there's someone immediately at the gate, an armed security, someone, it's going to go a little bit different as far as immediately being aware of what's going on and at least deterring the person for a second, engaging with them, making them have to stop. Because you would have seen, man.
But our school would have been bad, though, for the simple fact that you could hop that gate. So if somebody really wanted to, they could just hop in from the back of that shit, and then you still only got one entrance to get out. So now you got to get a whole school out from one way or just scatter and then try to hop the gates from the other side. Bro, so it's like...
That makes me think about that. Because whenever they do like the safety drills and shit, I'm always like, I don't know if this is the move. I'm trying to run to whatever fence I can. But what you think? I seen someone post about like we don't need to keep doing. Everyone's mad, and people are like, fuck any type of solution. For they were talking about like doing the shelter in place drills, and they're like, we need to stop doing that. It's traumatizing the kids. That shouldn't be the focus. We need to focus on this. I do feel like the drills are kind of useless.
Shelter in place, that's like when you...
Or like active shooter drills.
Yeah. I mean, there has to be some type of protocol, though.
So like everyone's going to be like, hide. That's what that's the thing. Like, so what? In a sense, I'm like, what are we really practicing? Like, all right, so you're going to slide under... Guys, let's practice someone coming here and shoot it up. You're going to dive behind the couch. You're going to hide under... Like, when the time comes, bro, everybody's just trying to lock their shit. Wait for the code word, and that's pretty much all you need.
And especially our school too, because like, okay, I could understand locking yourself up in this small classroom or in the like kind of pod. You lock the door, you're good. And we didn't have like too many glass windows, and we had like cages on our windows too, so it wasn't too bad. But like once you get outside, They wanted us to like line up, stay together, so they could
go to the field.
Yeah, go to the
fuck
field.
outta
No,
here.
motherfucker.
Boy,
The second I get out, bro, I'm dipping.
Hell
Like, but I understand why though, because they don't want people to say, "Oh, where's my kid at?" And your kid's
And
at
also,
McDonald's.
they can't be like, everybody run.
Yeah.
Y'all get the fuck
Exactly.
But boy, I'm getting the fuck out of there. Hell no. What, you gonna write me up the next morning? Oh, I'm in trouble. Yeah, sorry.
I'm teaching my kid how to climb
I'm going
fences,
straight to the
dog.
McDonald's at the corner, bro. I'm about to make some calls.
Another thing
That's
they
a
were
safety
saying,
precaution.
the shooter uses like, because you know how growing up in school, we have those like lockdown drills, like you're not supposed to open the door for anybody, but they'll use the kids as like, hey, knock on the door, or have
it's the
the
police.
teacher open it, and then the shooter's gonna be right there already with the kid.
Yeah.
So
I feel like that's what one of the survivors said. He was saying that it was a little ass kid. He gave a little statement. He was talking about like, he started knocking on the door, and he was saying that's it's the police, and it's safe to come out. And once they went out, they got sprayed. And that kid was staying like he was still in the classroom, he was hidden. Yeah. But then after a little bit, I think the cops came in and got him.
Ain't no little bit. After an hour, the cops came in and got him. And they say, bro, kids were calling the police over and over again, like, please send them, please send them. They're out that time, and they're just out there waiting.
That just pisses me off, man. Because this is something that
what you got
control.
the gun for, bro? You don't want to use it?
For
you got all that shit on. Y'all think you the military and shit moving. You probably feel like a badass in your uniforms. Then some shit actually going down. Where you at? Outside, arresting a parent.
And they got the fucking revolvers. They're sheriffs that...
They got revolvers out there?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
Texas.
hell
They're sheriffs.
Hell
Six
nah.
guns, 6 shooters.
Nigga, I might not want to go in with no fucking revolver. What the fuck? And that's 40% of their budget, and they have revolvers.
Yeah, man.
Get the fuck out
sheriffs,
of here.
The sheriffs specifically, they be having the revolvers. The sheriffs.
Okay. It was only sheriffs on scene.
Nah. Well, obviously that like
The police and shit.
the first responders. Yeah, it was sheriffs.
Okay.
So I'm surprised. It's like, why aren't they going in there? It's just fucking frustrating. Can't like.
Wait, so did you make up the revolvers thing, or they dead ass had revolvers?
No, they had revolvers. The sheriffs in Texas have revolvers. You can look it up.
Yeah, that's wild.
Oh shit, that's wild.
That's fucking old as shit. So in the cowboy days, I mean, this guy, the police killed him. So,
Bro, I don't think the sheriffs got revolvers, bro.
What if it's like a nice ass one?
Yeah,
dog?
okay, what if? That's why I'm like, where do you get this certainty from?
Like
that
all of them got
because we
revolvers?
have a sheriff department out here, and they have the same shit as the cops.
They got the Glocks.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, bro, this is not the fucking 50s, but either way,
bro, we gotta
Like a
do something. Like,
Magnum.
I still always be saying we gotta have like public capital punishments. Like this guy died, which I still think is too quick of a death.
yeah, I don't like when motherfuckers die when they do some shit like this. I want them to get locked up, have to sit with that shit for the rest of their life.
You think they get
they should
special
get tortured.
privilege though?
What they
many shootings?
Huh?
There's so many shootings. I feel like at this point, like the government or like at least the police department, they just glorifying these shooters.
I feel like by like splashing their face all over the media and repeatedly talking about it. I think
Yeah.
in a way
So
they
it's
kind of.
I don't think it's the police though. I think it's the media.
It is the media. Because, like, there's a lot of creators that don't show their face. Like, Ben Shapiro, he had to take on it. He doesn't show their face. He doesn't even say their name or
They ain't
anything
even say his
like that.
pussy ass name.
Nah, not at all. But, shit. Whoa.
Let them get ripped apart by lions or something.
Yeah, we gotta bring back shit like
that's
that,
what I'm
bro.
saying. Or like, because the guillotine too fast. Like, put them in some gladiator shit. You know what I'm saying?
You know what you do? You get the 4 horses. You tie. They used to do that shit. Tie up one leg, tie up the other leg, tie up the arms, stretch that motherfucker.
Hell yeah.
You go smack them. They just go take off running.
Bro, because I was watching a Conversation with a Killer on Netflix, and it was the John Wayne Gacy tapes. And so that dude, like, when it was time for him to die, they did the, I want to say injection, but that's still too quick. And he had no remorse, you know? So, like, as a parent of somebody who, you know, your kid got, you know, sodomized and then killed, you want to see that motherfucker suffer. And some of them don't have that screen that says, oh, I did bad. They don't have guilt, you know? So at least let them get ripped apart viciously so, like, the next person doesn't do it. And then maybe they might get scared, and then that'll give everybody satisfaction in that last moment, like, yeah, you pussy.
Yeah.
You know, in that last moment before he gets ripped apart by 4 different horses or fucking brazen bull his ass or something. Put him in that big-ass bull and put the fire to his ass.
I see
Rip
that
off
shit.
each nail, rip off his fucking teeth. Fucking do all type of shit. Set him on. Do some shit, man.
Yeah.
Do
Or
something.
you could do the rat trick. You
Yeah,
fucking
man.
heat it up. Well, leave the rat on the belly, put a metal tin, and heat up that shit. And the rat just eats you from the inside.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, bro. You
Or
seen
they start
Bad
scratching,
Boys?
try to get out. Yeah, they'll kill you if
Yeah,
you
you
do so
gotta
many
see that.
piranhas. Bro, we gotta have a vote. You know how good that would be for the country.
The morale would go up,
Hell
bro. Back
yeah.
then,
you got an app,
motherfuckers
and there was motherfuckers like, how do you want to see him die? That's
We're doing a poll, a Twitter poll.
We're doing a poll, bro.
What up, Elon? Are you giving you some ideas,
Bro, we can start
bro?
betting on the polls. Like, you know what I'm saying? They got like sports bets.
How long will he last?
How long will he last? Which one you think they gonna do? Will he cry? Will he call out for his mom? What type of shit?
New season,
Well, yeah.
Black Mirror.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
Hey, all right. So now we got through all that. Now I
Fuck
think
that
it's
dude.
more fitting to introduce our guest.